Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to upcycle an old pair of pants into shorts. And I'm going to show you an easy way to sew your hem. So let's get to it. So this is what you will need. You'll need your pants. You'll need either measuring tape or ruler, thread, push pins, needle, scissors, and chalk. Chalk is optional. It just helps you to see the line better when you cut your pants. Here you can see in this pants I have a hole. These are actually my son's pants. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a way that I can fix that. Go ahead and try on your pants so you know how much you want to cut. You're gonna cut them short or you're gonna cut them longer. I do recommend for you to cut your pants longer rather than shorter, because you can always cut it shorter if you want to. So this is what I'm gonna do. I already know that this part right here where the knee is just, it's bad, it's gotta go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that out. And the way I do it is make sure there's no folds on the back. Just stretch it out. And I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that part out. And remember, I'm cutting longer. So that's gone. So now I cut this part out. I don't need it. But I am going to focus on this part because I want to make sure it's even. Now remember, the back is always longer than the front. So you want to make sure you cut it evenly. So I'm just measuring my pants and making sure this side is even. And I've noticed that there's a little piece that I can cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. So here I have my one side of the leg ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over on top of my long one that's still there. So once I fold it over, I check to make sure everything is even. There's no puckers. So you can use your ruler and chalk and just make a line. It's optional, you don't need to. For this pants, it's quite easy. So you just cut it. Try to cut with sharp scissors, it helps a lot. Alright, so here we have our shorts. The next part is I'm going to show you how to do the hem. So here I have my cut shorts. The next part is we're going to decide how much we want to roll our hem. So this is our hem and I'm just going to roll it one time. This is the easiest way to do it, and this type of fabric does not fray too much. And even if it does, I kind of like the rough edges. So you want to decide how big of a roll do you want. All right, so you're going to need some sort of pins for this. If you don't have any pins, it's okay. But once you have your 1 inch measured or any kind of length you want, you're going to want to put a pin to hold your place so it does not move. And just go around and measure it out. So this one needs to be a little bit higher. So I'm just going to put a pin there. This is the back. I'm going to put another pin. And finally, one more. So there you have it. I'm going to put my last pin. So once you have one side done, you want to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm measuring out 1 inch, putting a pin. Once again, measuring 1 inch, putting a pin. And one more time. Last pin. Now that you have your hems all measured and pinned, we're ready to sew. So I have my needle threaded and ready to go, and I'm going to use a contrast thread so you can see, but I do suggest for you to use thread that will match your shorts. This is what I do. I'm going to start sewing at this end right here. This would be my side seam, and this would be the inner seam. I'm going to go ahead and start here, and on the inside I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing. So I'm coming as close as I can to the seam, the original seam, and I'm just going to pull my yarn through, my thread through, and I'm just going to take this out. I don't need it anymore. I have my thread there. And what you want to do is you want to make a small stitch, not too long. You don't want it to be this long. You want it to be as short as you can so it's invisible. And just push your thread in and just pull it out. So you have one stitch. You can see how small I made mine. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to bring it here and pull it out. I'm going to try to follow my original placements. And once again, I'm sewing my hem in place so it does not move. So you want to come as close as you can. And once you have about 2 to 3 stitches in, that should be enough. And in the back, what I want you to do is collect the stitches together. And put a couple of stitches just to hold it. Like so. Put it up. And you are done. So there you have one knot. You can do one more. And you're done. Cut it out. You have one side ready to go. Now what you want to do is do the same thing on your inner leg or inner seam. You're gonna sew it as close as you can to this seam right here. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'll meet back with you and I'll show you how to sew the front and the back. All right, so I just sewed my side seams right here. And what we need to do is do the front and the back. So what I want you to do is go ahead and fold your work, I want you to make sure that this side seams match together. And then what you're going to do is stretch this a little bit to find your edge. And you're going to repin this like so. See, it's holding it for me. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side, because we're trying to find where we need to put our stitches so they're even. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's close enough. So now that I have them pinned, I'm going to go ahead and sew again. So I'll show you one more time. So remember, I'm using contrast thread. I'm going to go ahead and see where my push pin is. I'm going to start on one side, and I'm going to come as close as I can to the edge. Just going to bring up a stitch and go back down. Once you have one in, you can take this out. You don't need it. And just go ahead and sew it. So this is the back, and I'm going to come back right here and bring out my needle. And I'm just going to try to go as close as I can to the original stitch. All right, so I did 2, and that's enough. You can do 3, like I showed previously. And just kind of do a couple of stitches. All right, so here I go. Just gonna put a couple of knots. And you're done. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew the back. So you're gonna need your thread and your needle, and you're gonna come back. Remember, work as close as you can to the edge, meaning where you cut it, and bring up your needle and go back down right almost close to the original stitch that you did. So one more time, go back down. Now what we're going to do is take this out, you don't need it, and just go ahead and make a couple of stitches. Another way you can finish up sewing is by cutting your thread, finding both ends and just knotting them. Just put a couple of knots, 1, 2, and 1 more, 3, and you're done. Cut out the extra thread, and there you have it. So this is the way we fold up our hems. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side, and I'll meet back with you. So here I have my finished shorts. I did both hems, and I did change the thread so it matches, and you're all done. You can wash them as much as you want. This is one easy way to upcycle your old pants or any type of pants into shorts. And I hope you like this video, and please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.